Hey folks, Zach here. Welcome back to the Murray Homestead, and today we're going to be showing y'all how to can jalapenos from your garden. All right, so as y'all can see, we have a pretty extreme excess of jalapenos here, and we really enjoy them. We eat peppers like crazy in this household. The last video, and I'll have my wife link it up here, all we did is pickle them, and that's very easy, and it'll make them last for about 2 months in the fridge. If you want to actually can them, so in a water bath canner, you can make them last in the pantry for about a year, and depending on who you ask, they'll actually last like 2 years. But the recommendation is 1 year. So I'm going to be using the ball canning recipe for them. And it's very, very simple. It's really, you're gonna cut up your jalapenos. I went ahead and got that done for y'all. And you just quarter them. If you want to slice them, it doesn't matter. And then we added some some onions, nice and thin, and some carrots. So we got a good amount of stuff to can here. For the brine, what you're actually going to pour, like what the liquid is going to be in the can, it's just going to be equal parts white vinegar, 5% acidity, and water. And then you'll add a little bit of salt. The recipe, technically, just so you know, is 2.5 cups of water, 2.5 cups of white vinegar, and 2 tablespoons of salt. They say canning salt, any salt will technically work, but we went ahead and got this canning salt from Wally World, and it works just fine. The recipe, so to be clear, that's going to set up your acidity and your salinity, and that's what's really important in canning. The recipe does call for a tablespoon of sugar. I cannot stand the sweet pickles or anything like that, so I'm just leaving the sugar out completely. If you want to cut down on the heat a little bit and add a little bit of sweetness, you're more than welcome to follow the recipe exactly and put the sugar in there. So what we got here is we got all of our vegetables cut up and ready to go. This is a pressure canner, but I'm just using it because it's a large vessel. And I have it about that full, so enough to leave at least an inch over the jars. With boiling water, and you want that before you get started with the process fully boiling. All right, so you can see we got our jars pre-warmed here, and if you put them here, we've got the water about here, so the entire thing will be fully submerged with boiling water. So we got our vegetables, our boiling water that we're actually going to process the cans in. This pot here is full of very, very hot water, but not boiling. And you want to pre-warm the jars before you put them in the boiling water so they don't explode as soon as they hit that water. In this pot here, we have our brine. And in this pot here, we have our lids. And that's not really necessary, but it does help them just soften up the seal a little bit just to make sure everything's going to go well. So first things first, we're going to take all of our jars that are very hot and set them on a cloth on the counter, and we're going to fill them with all of our vegetable mixture. Oh, a very, very, very important thing is before you warm these jars, they need to be sterile. Sterile or sterile, either way, but they need to be extremely clean. And because we home brew alcohol around here, we already have this. This is a product called Star San. It will absolutely decimate any of the nasty stuff that you don't want when you're preserving or fermenting or canning. You don't have to buy that. You can just wash the jars very well. And if you really want to be as careful as you can boil them therefore sterilized them. But we had Star San, so I went ahead and sterilized them that way. So now, ooh, that's hot. I'm gonna pack these jars, and you want to just stuff them with a nice combination of your peppers, carrots, and onions. I'll get these all packed and I'll see y'all in a second. All right, so we've got our jars stuffed full of our little vegetable pepper combination here. So now it's time to add the brine. And again, the water's already at a rolling boil. So we're gonna fill the brine using this little canning funnel. We'll take the lids out using this little magnetic magic stick here, and then we'll go and put the lids on just finger tight, and we'll place them into the water bath, and we're going to process them for 10 minutes, and that is what Ball says to do. All these little canning gizmos and stuff will be down in the description below. I'll try not to make a mess here. Woo. So I'll get them mostly full to save a little bit of time. Just by pouring the pot in there. All right, so I've got them all pretty much topped off. The Ball instructions, and I trust them so I don't get botulism and die or something funny, calls for a 1/2 inch of headspace on these jars, and if you have the little magic stick, that is the second notch right there. So now that we've got them all pretty well full, I'm gonna use the ladle and the funnel to get it pretty much right where I want it. And try not to make such a mess. We'll get them all 100% topped off, and then we'll put them in the water bath. All right, so now that we've got our jars all filled, and you can see we've got little pieces sticking up. I packed the jars pretty well, and the second these things see a good amount of heat, it'll all settle down pretty well. So I'm not worried about that. Now before we put the lids on, we're gonna wipe the rim with just a little bit of white vinegar. White vinegar when canning is your friend, and it is extremely economical, so there's no need to be stingy with it. But you just really want to make sure the rims of the jars are as clean as possible. And then you'll take this little magic doodad here and grab your lids out. And when you're doing it, you want to make sure that there's just one. Very often, you'll get two that are sandwiched together, and it's kind of hard to tell. All right, and then you're gonna put the rings on finger tight. That's it. Just like that, and just a little baby bit snug. Barely snug. And barely snug. That's it. And now we're going to lower them into the water bath itself, and we're going to process 10 minutes. All right, we'll show you what they look like when we take them out. Our timer just went off. It's been 10 minutes that these have been processing, aka boiling. We got a mess going on here, but we've got a whole nother batch coming up. And we still have more peppers left over. So it's a good problem. So now I'm going to use these cool little can grabbers and carefully pull the cans out. And that's pretty much what they're going to look like when they're done. And then I'm just going to set them on a towel on our counter. And you're going to leave these out for 24 hours. Honestly, overnight. What Ball says, you and I should both trust him, 12 to 24 hours. So I'm basically just gonna leave these out overnight. You can see the inside of them boiling. That's what is so cool about canning. It's just literally sterilizing every single thing in there. That is going to be yummy. Alrighty, I think that's gonna be it for tonight. I'm gonna get the rest of these peppers, which I don't know if you can see, I'm sweating. I decided to take a little nibble. These peppers came out hot, like really, really hot. But I'm gonna get the rest of these processed up, and then I'll show y'all what they look like tomorrow evening once they've had a full 24 hours to sit. And again, if y'all like this type of type of content, please make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit the stupid little bell below. It is important to us. And then 2, if you have a garden, we have 2 jalapeno plants. And we have given away jars and jars already this year. And we're gonna have so much more because we live around Houston, Texas. We have a very long growing season. So if you want to not have your produce go to waste, even with just a couple little plants, canning is a very, very good way of making them last at minimum until the next grow season. So I'll show you what this all looks like in the morning, tomorrow evening. Hey folks, welcome back. It has been about 18 hours since I've taken these out of the water bath, and we heard that beautiful little pop, pop, pop sound on every single one of them. So now when you're all done, you're just want to wipe off the top of the lids real quick, and you want to put what the product is and the month and date, the month and year of when you did it. Like I said, these should last a year according to the internet. In my opinion, it'll probably be a little bit closer to 2 years. Do your own research. But you can see what these turned out like. They look pretty, pretty yummy. And I ended up doing 1 whole jar of nothing but these Serrano jalapenos. And my goodness, they are insanely hot. So hopefully y'all learned something. If I did something wrong, please put it down in the comments below. Otherwise, thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.